And as we now know, not the last. A former economics professor at the University of Havana and advisor to government entities overseeing Cuba's economic policy, Oscar left academia and his government work behind during the COVID pandemic to set out on a new path as an entrepreneur in Cuba's embryonic private sector, seizing the opportunity presented by government reforms that began to expand the limited space for private ownership of businesses. Oscar and his brother launched a new firm in a new field for Cuba, Deshidratados Havana, Dehydrated Havana, a company that produces dried fruits and health snacks for the island's stores and restaurants using fruits that fall from the trees across the tropical island that would have otherwise rotted on the ground. Oscar now employs 21 people and hopes to be able to hire more. But from the beginning, his eyes were on a bigger prize, exporting his products to the United States. Talk about a revolutionary idea. Given the historic tensions between our two nations, on fellowship, Oscar explored what it might take for a privately owned Cuban company to successfully sell its products in the United States. His larger goal is to expand his business and serve as a model for other Cuban entrepreneurs to strengthen and eventually grow the nascent and fragile private sector on the communist island. Anyone who's met him wouldn't bet against him. I'd like to welcome to the podium Oscar Fernández.
Well, let's see how to deal with the technology here. Good evening, all. I am Cuban. I carry with pride that heritage of sun, beach, music, but also kindness, generosity, rebellion, hard work, ingenuity. I am indigenous, I am Spanish, I am African, I am American, from the heart of the Americas. I carry on my blood the immeasurable boldness of our emigres and the stubborn resistance of those who clung to their little piece of land. I was born in the late 70s, so here I am, the older brother, according to my fellows. For many years, I have been obsessed with a single purpose in mind: how to help my loved ones, how, from my small universe, I can contribute to improving their life, the life of my family, of my friends, my neighbors, and all my fellow Cubans. I dedicated many years of my life to teaching younger generations as a professor of the University of Havana, but my desire for independence prompted me to change course, and without really knowing how to do it, I decided to start a business of my own. In 2021, taking advantage of a historic change promoted by the Cuban government, I decided, together with my brother and my wife, to create our own private company for the production of dehydrated foods. And a year later, we became the first Cuban company to export snacks from dehydrated fruits. Now, I no longer teach classes. I am now a private entrepreneur's apprentice. I am one of those almost 12,000 of small private companies that try to build a new path forward in Cuba. Despite the hostile circumstances that we face every day from both shores, we dream of a different country that provides solutions to the shortcomings it faces, and a country that builds a future of prosperity. Then one moment, while I was full of ambitions and dreams to fulfill, some divine being placed before me this possibility of the Eisenhower Fellowship. And my dreams flew even further, because this program can be defined with a single thought. It is a magnificent bridge. The coincidences of life brought me to this city, where I met an icon of my adolescence. Years ago, with the music of Boyz II Men, I learned my first words in English in the 90s. I arrived in this country 38 days ago. I have lived incredible stories, visited 9 cities, and traveled more than 7,000 miles across the US. Some by plane, but others on the Amtrak train. I also rode the San Francisco cable car, captained a yacht for 30 minutes in Miami, weaved through traffic on a bicycle rented from a bike share in Washington, D.C., drove a Tesla at over 110 miles per hour, and nearly rode a wild bull like a good cowboy on California ranch. But that's a story for another time, yeah. I met with many people, federal and state officials, businessmen, politicians of various tendencies, journalists, historians, bankers, social activists, entrepreneurs. I visited universities, shared a talk about the Cuban economy with American students. I reconnected with a friend in Florida that I hadn't seen in 30 years. I enjoyed the hospitality of a special dinner at the home of a wealthy family, and I learned it from Mexican farm workers in California. One dream I didn't get to live. I hoped to throw out the first ball of a Chicago Cubs game at Wrigley Field. Again, they didn't win due to the absence of Cubans on the roster. I have shared all these stories with 20 other wonderful people from all corners of the world who join me here today. I'm sure many of us are going to mourn this farewell. We have laughed, we have danced, we have dreamed, and we have done many other things that I'd rather not talk about here. But most importantly, we have been inoculated with the power, solidarity, simplicity, and thirst of wisdom of all these people who make up one of the most prestigious networks in the world, the Eisenhower Fellowship Global Network. I returned to my Cuba with a pocket full of powerful ideas. But there is one which is at the heart of this program and that stands out above the others: peace. Peace has to be the most important of all ambitions. This is Thank you. This is possible, the main legacy that I take away from the thinking of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Peace and freedom are inseparable. Without peace, it's not possible to fully enjoy our freedom, since the presence of conflict and violence limits our capacity for expression, mobility, and personal development. But as Eisenhower himself pointed out, peace cannot be maintained without justice. To achieve a peaceful and harmonious world, there needs to be balanced and fair treatment for all individuals. In his words, there is no problem that cannot be solved if people work together and commit to a common goal. Our famous Cuban poet, writer, and national hero, José Martí, said, "The passion for justice is what makes us human. Tolerance is the key that unlocks the doors to understanding." Thanks to Eisenhower Fellowship for helping us build that understanding. With this, I want to finish expressing my enormous gratitude to the founders of this program, its directors, its magnificent staff, its donors, its trustees, and its entire network of people committed to its values. Thank you for the unsurpassed experience that you gave us and for the seed you have sown for the future. And to my fellows, it's been exceptional to share these outstanding weeks. So no matter what, always remember, you belong to me, I belong to you, till the end of the road.